Okay, so let's dive in with our first SPSS assignment. I'm going to spend a few minutes right now telling you about SPSS in general and orienting you to the data file that we're going to be working with for all three of our assignments. After that, we're going to spend some time working on these in-class problems, which are on this document that you can see in front of you right now. With all three of the computer assignments, you're going to first be taught how to use SPSS to solve the problems by doing an in-class problem sheet that will work together. And then after that, you should have the skill set that you need to be able to actually do the work required for the computer assignment that's due that week. So all of the in-class problem sheets will look something like this. We're going to be using SPSS for this assignment. We're going to be doing descriptive statistics, and the data set that we're using comes from this national longitudinal study on adolescence, in which they collected data on adolescence at two time periods. Wave 1 was in the period of time between 94 and 95, and Wave 2 was from 2001 to 2002. The original data file that you can get has almost 3,000 variables, and they collected data on about 6,500 participants. Now, to make this more manageable for this assignment, I've deleted a huge number of variables to reduce our data set to about 70 or so variables from Wave 1, and then I've also added in about, I don't know, 10 to 15 variables from Wave 3 so that we'll be able to answer some questions about change over time. The original data sets are available at this link, and I think it's really fascinating data that we're lucky to be able to access because it relates to physical activity and sedentary behavior. Okay, so let me switch over now and show you the SPSS data set. So this is the National Longitudinal Study Wave 1 and 3 short.save data set, and all of the SPSS data files have the extension .sav. Now when you come into the SPSS data file, it's organized sort of in an interesting way. You can see down here at the bottom that I'm on the screen in the data file that's called the variable view screen. By clicking on this tab, I can switch to the data view screen. So let me go back to the variable view screen. In this screen, you see listed vertically here all of the names of the variables in this study. And so if we scroll down, we can see that there are about 79 variables. Now most of these variables, as you can see, are numeric. The only exception to this is the ID that they have for each participant, which is a string variable. Then for each of these variables, SPSS limits you in how many characters you can have for a variable name, which is actually incredibly irritating. But fortunately, they allow you to also give the variable a label. And so these labels allow you to be more expansive in terms of describing what the variable stands for. And you can see that's really important in a huge data set like this, where they've got all these codes, you know, for these variables, H1GI, 1M, H1GI, 1Y, etc. Obviously, we have no idea what that means, but if we look over here in the label, we can see that this is the birth month, Wave 1, the birth year, Wave 1, etc. The next column that's important to look at is the values column, and this allows you to give codes to the data that you're going to enter. So some of these questions, for instance, biological sex, that's numeric data, right? But it's entered over here, you can see, if you click on this, it's entered at different values. So a 1 means male and a 2 means female. When you come down here to some of these others, for birth month, for instance, again, we've got to have codes to tell you that the 1 means the month of January, the 2 means the month of February, etc. Okay. The next column is the missing data column. So if somebody didn't tell us their biological sex, then the number that we would enter would be a 6. And that can be any number you want. I don't know why they chose 6, but that's what they chose. For some of these, they said a 96 means it's missing data, or a 98 means it's missing data. So all of these signify that it's not actual data and it shouldn't be included in any analyses. Where they have two different ones, the 96 and the 98, you can see that the 96 means they refused to answer the question, and the 98 means that they didn't know the answer to the question. So they do signify different reasons for the data being missing. Okay, that's the most important information from this variable view. Now let's go over to the data view where we can actually see the data that's been entered. So here you can see the IDs that were used. So these are codes to represent each participant, and that's an important thing. I should say that again. Each data for each participant is entered going vertically. So if I wanted to, for instance, insert a variable here and tell you the names of these people, which of course we would never do. Sorry. This will be a good lesson. Okay, this variable is entered as numeric data, so I could enter a 1, but I couldn't enter text. I tried to enter text and it didn't work. So if I go back to variable view and tell it that this needs to actually be string data, then I can say, okay, this is my subject name Mary, this is Sam, this is Stephen, etc. Okay, so the only reason I'm putting that in there is to just demonstrate that the data going across is the data for each individual who's in the study. Okay, we would never enter people's names for IRB purposes to protect their confidentiality, but this is just to demonstrate that the data goes across. Okay, so let me get rid of that. So let's take a little while then to get familiar with this data. And one other important thing I want to show you is that if you go to View, you can click on Value Labels and see how the data changed. Now it shows the numerical data. So biological sex, for instance, is a 2 here, a 2 here, a 1 here, a 1 here. I'd have to go back to the variable view to see what the 2 and the 1 stand for, or because I entered those value labels, I can click Value Labels here and it'll toggle back and forth to show me what that data actually represents. So I know that's a little bit confusing. That's important for you to think about a little bit. The data that's stored here is actually numerical. Okay, this is the data that the program is actually going to analyze. The program cannot analyze the word male and the word female. So it's numerical data, but those numerical data points represent values, and I can see those values if I want to by clicking on Value Labels. I kind of prefer to not see the value labels when I'm running analyses, because then I can see better what the data kind of looks like instead of seeing the words. Okay, the other two windows that I want to show you haven't appeared yet. Oh, I'm sorry, output is actually here. If you go to the window file up here, there's going to be an output window, which is where any of our results are going to come up. And then there's also eventually going to be a syntax window, which is where we're going to paste the commands that we're going to use to analyze our data. So let's go back over here to our window, which shows the problems that we need to do for our in-class portion. We've already done number 1, which was to explore the data set, learn a little bit more about it. I've shown you this, but let's make sure that we answer this question here. So we're going to use the toggle to go back and forth between seeing the actual data and the values. We're going to look at biosex. Maybe you remember this, but my mind's not that good. So I'm going to go back and look to see which numerical value represents male and which represents female. So I come back over here. Here's biosex. I can go to variable view. Here's biosex again. And here I can click on this under values, and I can see that a 1 means male and a 2 means female. So I come back over here and I type in for my answers that a 1 means male and a 2 means female. Okay. The next thing we're asked to do is to change some of the variable names to names that make more sense for us, because we don't have this big code book to know what all of these things stand for. So we're going to change H1GI20 to grade, H1GI4 to Hispanic, H1DA8 to TV, etc. Okay, so let me just make this a little bit small so I can see both things at once. Come over here, make this a little small too. Alright, so when I'm in the variable view, if I come to H1GI20, here it is, I'm just going to click on that cell, and then I'm going to just type in that I want this to be grade. Okay? Then I'm going to come down to H1GI4. These are kind of alphabetical, I think. Sorry about that. I went the wrong way on that. The Hispanic is actually located right above grade. So we're going to put our cursor in there. It doesn't matter to me if it's uppercase or uppercase and lowercase. We'll switch that to Hispanic. Then we're going to come down to H1DA8, and we're going to switch this to TV. H1DA9, we're going to switch that to videos. and then H1DA6 is back up a little bit. We're going to switch that to exercise. Okay, so now we'll want to save it so that we save those changes that we just made. All right, our next thing that we're going to do in step 4 is to describe the sample. We're going to talk about how many participants are male and how many are female, and then we're going to also talk about how many are and how many are not of Hispanic origin. All right, so let me scooch this over a little bit so we can come over here. Now, this is our first analysis that we're going to do, and it's actually just finding out frequencies. So we come up to Analyze. Actually, let me switch over to Data View so you can see kind of where we're looking. Come up to Analyze. We're going to click on Descriptive Statistics, and the first thing we're asked about is frequency. So we click on Frequencies. And we're asked about how many male and female there are. So we're going to take biological sex, and all we do is we highlight the variable we're interested in, and we shoot it over into this variable that it's going to run the analyses on. And then the other variable that we were asked about is Hispanic. Oh yeah, that's above sex, right? Sorry, I'm having a hard time thinking where it is. Oh yeah, it was above grade. So there's grade. Oh yes, I'm sorry. I should have remembered to say this. This is one thing about SPSS that I think is a little bit challenging to remember, is that the way it shows the variables is actually not to use the variable name. You can see it over there on the right in the square brackets, but it actually uses the label that you gave it. So you have to be careful with your labels, because otherwise, if you have a small box, if you haven't made this box big, you can have a hard time telling which variable you're on. Like here you can see S1Q1 birth something, and here's birth something else. I can't tell which is which. So it's really important in your labels that your first few characters are unique, and then also of course that you recognize that you can expand the box to see more of the label. So here's Hispanic. We'll shoot that in, right? And then what I'd like you to get in the habit of doing every time is clicking Paste. Okay, when you click Paste, that's going to allow you to put this into the syntax window so that you preserve the steps that you took to do your analyses. So when we paste it, it shoots us over into the syntax window where you can see exactly what you're doing. So we're getting frequencies on the variables biosex and Hispanic, and then it's going to give us the analyses for that. So then what you do over here is you highlight what you want to run. Doesn't matter if you catch that first one or not. That first one is just telling you that you have an active data set. You click the green arrow, and now it's going to put us in the output window. Okay, so here's the frequency data that we've asked for, and so you can see that let's see, for biological sex, there's 1 missing data point. For Hispanic origin, there's 23 missing data points. Here's the number of valid responses, the frequency for each for biological sex. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is to double-click this table, and then to highlight the cells where you're getting your answers, so that if you make a mistake, I can tell where your mistake might have come from. So you highlight those cells. Oh, I should have talked you through this. I'm sorry. I click here and I click here. I hold down the control button to click there, and then by holding the control button, I can skip one and not get that whole column and get this other cell. Then I right click, and then I go to Cell Properties. Down here on background, I click where it was white, and I tell it that I want to make it orange, or whatever color you like that I can still see the text through. So now when I click, those are highlighted so I can tell where I found or where you found your answers. So now I come over here. It would help me a lot if you can switch it to a different color of font here as well, because then I can see your answers really quickly. So you could say in this sample there are 3147 males and 3356 females with 1 missing data point. Okay. Then we're going to look down here, and here's this table that gives us Hispanic origin. So I double click the table, I click on that cell, I'm holding down the control button, I click on that cell, and then I'll click on both of these because those are both missing data points. I right click, I hit Cell Properties, click on the background white, switch it to orange, say OK, or apply first and then OK. And then I'm going to write that into my answer sheet over here. In this sample, there are 5738 non-Hispanic individuals, 743 who identify as Hispanic, and 23 missing data points. Okay, so we've answered number 4. Right now,